Hello everyone and welcome back. In this session, we are going to talk about large language models or LLMs. But before we understand how an LLM works, we first need to answer a simple question. What is exactly is an LLM? Okay, LLM stands for large language model. Let's break this named into three parts. First, large. Okay, it is called large because it is trained on a huge amount of text. For example, books, websites, articles, and many other sources. And the second one is language. It is worked with human language. It can read text, write text, answer questions, summarize information, and for example translate languages and much more. And the third one is model. A model is simply a computer program that learns pattern from data. Okay, so a large language model is a computer program that learns patterns from a massive of text and can generate human-like response. Okay, so at the end of the day, we know LLM can understand the human language and also can generate the response human-like. Okay, now I am sure all of you use GPT or Gemini in your daily life to ask questions. Let's go to ChatGPT, and when I type, for example, hi in the and submit that, it magically answers with something like this. Okay, here when you chat like this, it feels like a real human is sitting on the other side and talking to you. Okay, and as a website says, this is ChatGPT. That means you are chatting with a GPT. And what is GPT? GPT is an LLM. Okay, a large language model. Let's write another prompt. Write a poem, for example, about space. When you see ChatGPT writing a poem, it does not mean it understands a space like a human. It means it has learned patterns from a huge amount of text about spaces, about poems and languages. In our market today, we have different types of LLM. For example, OpenAI's have GPT-5, GPT-4, GPT-4o, and Google, as you can see, for example, have 3.5 flashlight, 3.1 flashlight, 3.1 Pro, and Cloud, for example, Sonnet and Pro models have, and they all use different data, have different speeds and different features, but at the end of the day, their goal is exactly the same. The goal is to understand human language and give us useful answer. Okay, so if an LLM is just a computer program, why does it so smart? Okay, that brings us to our next question. Okay, how does an LLM actually works? Okay, millions of people use GPT every day, but what happens when we type a message and press enter? Okay, let's find it out. Let's go back to the GPT and type, for example, what is the capital of France? And first, many people think ChatGPT works like Google, but it's not true. Google search the information, but an LLM just generate text. Okay. When I ask question, the model does not search its memory like a database. Instead, it tries to predict what words should come next. Okay. That may sound very simple, but it is actually very powerful. Imagine I write the sky is most people would say blue. Okay. An LLM works exactly like this. An LLM learns patterns like this from a huge amount of text. Okay, like I said, for example, books, website articles, and many other sources. But it learns much more than simple word prediction. Okay, it learns relationships between words. Now let's see what happens inside the model. Okay, for example, explain gravity in one sentence. Okay, before the model can understand my question, it breaks my text, my input, to the small pieces called tokens. Okay, token can be a word, a part of a word, or even a symbol. As you know, computers does not understand the words, so the model should convert these tokens into numbers. Okay, please don't worry about the token discussion. We will talk about the tokenization process in the next session. Just listen to me. Okay. And when we submit this question, after that, these numbers move through many layers inside the network, and each layer helps the model understand the meaning a little better. Okay, let's open a new tab and search for LLM neural network diagram, and here let's open a clear image. For example, I think it's okay. You don't need to understand every detail in this picture. The important idea is that information passes through many layers. Okay. Now let's talk about one of the most important ideas in modern AI. It's called attention. Okay, and when we search for that, attention mechanism transformer. Okay. Attention helps the model decide which words are important. Okay. For example, if I write a long sentences, every word doesn't have the same importance. Okay. The attention system helps the model focus on the right words. This was one of the key ideas that made GPT possible. Okay. After processing the input, the model starts generating an answer, but it does not create the entire answer at once. Okay, it generates one token at a time, one token, then another, then another. Okay, let's go back to the ChatGPT and for example, write a short story about a robot, for example, and watch carefully. This answer appears little by little. Okay, as you can see, that is because the model is generating token one after another. Okay, very quickly. This process continues until the response is complete. Okay, and so when people ask, does ChatGPT think like a human, the answer is very simple. The answer is no. It is an extremely advanced prediction machine. Okay, it has learned patterns from huge amount of text and used those text and those data patterns to generate response. Okay, so in summary, an LLM learns from massive data, massive amount of text, and then breaks the text into tokens and converts that token into the number, and it processes them through a network, and after that it uses attention to understand context, and finally it generates text one token at a time. This is the basic idea behind how GPT or other LLMs work. Okay, I think we are done for this session, and now we know what is an LLM and how it actually work. In the next part we will go about tokenization. Okay, goodbye.